What up again, guys? It's your host, Black Samurai 7. I'd just like to do a review on the 2022 Hulu movie, Not Okay. I actually also did a reaction to the full film, so if you'd like to see that video, I have it in the description from my Rumble channel. So go right ahead and check it out if you're interested in seeing it. But anyway, Not Okay is about a young woman by the name of Danny Sanders who works for. She's technically an editor, but also wants to be a writer for this magazine called Depravity. And Danny kind of finds herself like feeling like she's like kind of like nothing to everybody, even though she has a loving mom and a loving dad. But outside of all of that, Danny kind of feels like she's like I said, she is nothing to everyone, up to the point where no one really sees her. No, it's like people walk past her, and it seems as though she doesn't really exist, even though she actually does. And so because of that, this leads to Danny to wants to fabricate a writers retreat that she went to in Paris, France. And not only that, she also wanted to do it to impress some guy, some influencer by the name of Colin. And unknown to her, she had no idea that this was gonna happen. To be fair, she had no idea that would happen because, again, she wasn't even there. She didn't expect it to happen. What happened was that Paris ended up dealing with a terrorist attack, and so because of that, she chose to lie to her coworkers, lie to her employer, and lie to her parents and everyone on the internet that she was there and she survived and she's a survivor of the attack when she's not, because she was never ever there to begin with. And so because of that, that definitely led to many people actually not only really feeling sorry for her, but wanting to be around her and actually show care for her. And because even though she didn't really suffer some traumatic experience, but other people wanted to do that out of selflessness and care for others. And because with her story, that ended up her being friends with an actual traumatic experience survivor, a girl by the name of Rowan Aldrin, who currently is leading rallies and everything else, fighting against gun violence, which is a very, very good thing that we're currently dealing with right now in the world. Yeah, gun violence is a very serious thing, and honestly, I can't stand it either. And because of that led to Danny wanted to write an article using a slogan that Rowan herself came up with. So she pretty much stole that slogan from Rowan by writing a hashtag I am not okay. And I get it. I honestly understand because of that lie, that also led to her gaining more attention for herself, becoming nationally famous. Her story ended up becoming nationally famous. She ended up getting put on TV and newspapers and all over social media. Her getting millions and millions of followers because of this stupid lie that she never ever should have told. And not only that, her lie also managed to get her own office at Depravity. Her employer Susan decided to because her employer felt bad for her, she decided to give Danny her very own office instead of having a computer sharing a group desk space with other employees. I'm not sure if just in case if those of you who doesn't know this, Danny's story is no different than, this is a true story. I don't know if any of you ever heard it, the story of Tanya Head, the woman who fabricated a story about being an actual survivor from the 9/11 bombings when she actually wasn't. No, she wasn't a survivor of the terrorist attack at all, and that's no different than Danny's story. And I also wanted to with Danny's lie, there are some parts of it that I actually did like, and one of them is I did love how even though, and I get it, Danny being a grown woman and Rowan being a teenage girl, a type of friendship like that, I get it. That's very, very awkward. A very, very awkward like situation. Because especially there was one scene in the movie when when Rowan asks Danny, don't you have any other friends that you can hang out with? And then Danny was like, well, I'm here with you. And I could tell, I'm sure who the people who have seen that movie, you can probably see how awkward a scene like that was. But anyway, what I did like with Danny's lie was that I did like how, because there was one part in the film when Rowan showed her big stage fright and being in front of millions of people. I can understand with something like that, like that. Stage fright is a normal thing, and what I really did like what Danny did as a way of fighting it was putting on an Avril Lavigne song as a way of trying to conquer that stage fright. And honestly, I can believe it, and it worked. It worked. And I also love the fact that with Danny's selflessness is when she showed up in the hospital for Rowan after the rally was attacked because some morons in the audience wanted to throw firecrackers. Yeah, and Rowan ended up being in the hospital, being traumatized because knowing that seeing something like that was a very big triggering experience for Rowan. And and I get it. That could be triggering. That could probably be something like that can be triggering to anybody dealing with something like that. Yeah, and I get it. If I had survived something, well, to be honest with you guys, I myself, I am a survivor. I'm a child abuse survivor, and and this right here is, I know this is something to not lie about, and I would never ever do that ever. I would never ever lie about being a survivor of child abuse. No, I actually am, and because I know how horrible that would be, because there are children right now rotting in the grave from this, and there are family members out there right now who are grieving, crying their eyes out, desperately wanting to see their children again, but they can't because they're dead. But anyways, but later on in the movie, everything seems to fall apart for Danny because Danny's coworker Harper wanted to be a detective, wanted to be a little detective. Where there was one scene where Harper while Danny was at the rally, her computer was open. It was open and it was still logged in. And so Harper decided to go through Danny's computer, and she found the software that Danny was using to fuel up her lie. But the Photoshop software and everything that she used to make it seem like that she actually went out to Paris, even though she actually didn't. She didn't go to any trip, and then Harper ends up confronting Danny in her very own apartment. She even gave a reason. The reason why she did it was because that she didn't like her. And I get it, and I can honestly understand. If I knew someone that done something like this, I wouldn't like them. I wouldn't like them at all. And not only that, she even shared, she also kind of wanted to get her own office space too, because she was kind of jealous of it too. But you know what? She understood to not lie, being a survivor of a terrorist attack, just to get her hands on some office. She knew better than that. And you know what? And I get it. And then also throughout the movie, there was something that Danny had continued to see. There was some guy in a green jacket, and honestly, as I was watching the movie, I believe what the person in the green jacket represented. I believe the green jacket it represented her. It represented her shame. It represented the shame coming back to her. And you know what? And I really hate to do this by bringing up some content creator who I know very well is despicable, but you know what? I'm gonna bring it up anyway. Yes, that one line that I was used in quite a few of this person's videos. Your actions always have a way of coming back at you, and you know what? And that can definitely be applied with this movie. Yes, it certainly can. Your actions will have a way of coming back at you. And you know what? And the one big question that I really do have when it comes to the movie Not Okay is this: Does someone who have done something like this, have fabricated a lie like this, do they deserve redemption? Because there is one part, there's this little title card title card in the film where it said, "No, I don't deserve a redemption arc." And yeah, that was one really big question that anybody who's watching me right now, I want you to think about that. Did Danny really deserve any type of redemption? Even though I get it, I know it's a fake story, but that could also be applied to the true story. Even though I get it, the movie was not written based off that story. Just so everybody knows, it wasn't written based off of Tanya Head's story, but it can be connected because these two stories, they're no different. So anyway, and honestly, I think in my opinion, I'm gonna say when it comes to making a lie like this, honestly, I'm going to say yeah, they do. The reason why I say they do kind of deserve some type of redemption is because only when it comes to like later on in the movie when Danny did say that I'm going to take personal responsibility for my actions. And it seemed as though she was. She went to a support group for people who have gotten in trouble for doing very similar things that she did, and also especially at the end where she was gonna go to Rowan Aldrin's latest event, and she was gonna go apologize to her directly. And the movie ends where instead of her going up to her and apologizing, she leaves. She ends up leaving the room. And I actually love that ending. I love that ending really good because earlier before that there was one part when Rowan said in her speech, her spoken word was that I will never forgive you and we will never be okay. And I think that probably I can see why Danny that could be part of the reason why Danny didn't openly directly apologize to Rowan and just left the room. And also, I think from a writer standpoint, I kind of think the writer was wanting to go to a different approach, because like we kind of see this in movies a lot where we have main characters who want to tell lies. Well, not lies severe as this, but they want to tell lies like this. They get caught, and they go to the people that they've hurt with their lie. They apologize, and then everything else. They have a happy ending. But I believe the ending can still be happy for Danny. I believe it can. It can be happy for her because even I'm not going to say that something like this will be forgotten. No, it will never ever be forgotten. And I get it. Again, it is a fake story, but the truth is, like when it comes to someone like Tanya Head's story, I don't think anyone has forgotten her. I have not forgotten her ever. No. And but still, even though I've forgotten, it's like people have like maybe have forgotten about her, but not forgotten her. Meaning when it comes to people seeing her out in the street somewhere. There's people who probably will recognize, let's say if a sequel to Not Okay was made, I think people would still recognize Danny. Well, they'll recognize Danny Sanders, and they'll recognize her, and they definitely will not want to be around her at all. And so in truth, her making that lie, it didn't make it any better. All it did was make it worse. It made it 100% worse. And that's the thing that that Danny Sanders failed to understand, is that when it comes to social media, I think the problem with it is that there are many people that use it, and they have these profiles. They get millions of followers, millions of likes and comments and all that stuff. But I think the real question is, when it comes to influencers like myself, I'm an influencer myself. I think the one thing I always got to remember is that do I really care more? When it comes to people, do the people out there really care more about some persona that I show out on the internet, or do they care about the real me? That's something that we really all should care about and remember. And you know what? And I'm happy that I do have people in my life that do care about the real me, not some person that I'm showing out here on the internet. And the one thing is, another thing that we all got to remember, which is definitely the biggest message that Danny Sanders said at the very beginning of the movie: be careful what you wish for. And and honestly, I hope that we all remember that as we go on and live our lives. And this is all I have to say about the movie. And if you like my video, feel free to give it a like, a favorite, a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you'd like to see more, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later.